Hi everyone, welcome back to BS Rambles, and this video is going to cover everything you need to know going into Season 4 of Heroes of the Storm tomorrow, September 25th, 2018. And the first thing you need to know is that this season is not going to include any, quote, off-season. Season 3 is going to end, you will log into your ranked rewards, which will vary based on what your highest rank during the season was, and Season 4 will have already begun. I'm going to leave the link to what the end of season rewards are in the description below, but the gist of it is that Blizzard is giving us all crabs, which is never that welcome of a surprise. Personally, I am really happy that they're not doing any off-season like they do with Overwatch, where ranked basically goes on hiatus for a few days after the season, because I frankly don't see the point, and as someone who enjoys playing ranked almost exclusively, when they do that it basically feels like they're shutting down the game for no reason. So again, I'm very thankful that we're going from Season 3 straight into Season 4 starting tomorrow, and evidently this ranked season is only going to run until December 14th, which is a bit surprising to me as that seems pretty short, but I think that this is perhaps because our matchmaking system has been the recipient of a pretty massive change, which is the next topic I'm going to discuss. The biggest change that you need to know about is that Team League is now going to accept all party sizes. That includes single queue players. Now this represents a pretty huge change in Heroes of the Storm because previously the only way for a solo player to queue ranked was in Hero League, and now solo players, who represent the majority of the ranked queue population, will be making a choice between which queue they want to enter for their ranked experience. This is going to be very interesting to see how this all shakes out because we have Team League, which is kind of like the Wild West of ranked, and then Hero League for the solo queue purists out there. Personally, I'm not sure yet which queue I'm going to be entering into primarily. I like the draft system in Team League as it doesn't enforce any kind of draft order, which opens you up for more strategy as to the order you would like to draft for certain roles, but it also means that you're at the mercy of groups of players queuing together, who could potentially have wide variations in their skill level, which can be quite frustrating. Now, if you watch my last video I made on this change in particular, you know that my major concern was that this would further increase the queue times in Hero League by drawing more solo players out of that queue and into Team League. Well, I've got some great news on that because Blizzard has since released a hotfix aimed at lowering queue times for players from Silver League to Diamond League. It will not help people in Bronze or Master League because their queue times are arising from lower population, which certainly means that the Team League changes will result in them having even longer queues. But for the mass majority of players, you're going to feel a reduction in queue times. If you are one of the players that fall between Silver and Diamond and have experienced longer queues, it is pretty likely that your show and rank and your MMR have become divergent, which creates huge issues for the matchmaking system. And if you don't know what that means, you can think of your MMR as your hidden rank. That is more of a 100 game rolling average, and your show and rank is your linear rank adjustment that makes you feel like each individual game is more important than what it actually is. And I say that because your show and rank is going to fluctuate much more than your MMR. If you ever wonder why when you win you get 205 rank points and when you lose you might only lose 195, well, that's the game subtly trying to nudge your show and rank closer to your MMR, which can feel quite frustrating when the influence is going in the other direction, meaning that when you lose more rank points than what you gain when you win. Now, because of these changes, you can fully expect a flurry of opinions coming on Team League during this season, so brace yourself for that. The main question I have is where the players are going to be. Team League is now going to be a direct competitor with Hero League for population, and I suspect that I'm probably going to just queue for whichever one is going to provide me with lower queue times, so long as Team League doesn't prove to be unbearable, which certainly is a possibility. There are some other important changes that we may see during this season, and one big one that comes to mind is that recently during an AMA on Reddit, a developer stated that they are likely going to be removing promotion and demotion games altogether within divisions, meaning that you will fluidly drift from ranks 1 to 5 within a division without having to play the extra game as a buffer in between. Personally, I have mixed feelings about this because it means that your rank is going to be a little bit less important, and when you're on a losing streak, you might find yourself flying down through your division shockingly fast. However, I've also been on the other side of this where you might find yourself, say, 1 rank point away from a promotion game, which can feel really terrible because instead of a win counting as your usual 200 rank points, all of a sudden it's only worth 1, and then you have to complete a promotion game again after that. Other games like League of Legends have chosen to go a completely different direction with their division system, and they actually make players complete a series of 3 games for their promotion and demotion games, and a series of 5 games when they are moving from one division to another. Personally, I really liked that system because it gave you that professional gamer feel of competing in a series, but it also meant that your rank is much more static. Part of what keeps players coming back into rank play is the allure of climbing. So with systems like League of Legends, it's much more common to stay in the same place for an entire season, whereas in Here's the Storm, it's pretty common for a gold player to rocket up to diamond in a single season. Both ways of doing things certainly have merit to them. Personally, I think it would be cool to see a combination of the two. Maybe more fluid movement within a division and then a 3-game series between them so you get the fun of climbing and also the thrill of competing in a series, but obviously that's just a personal preference, and what we actually will be getting is the removal of promotion and demotion games from within divisions, meaning that you could climb from Silver 4 to Silver 3 to Silver 2 without having ever completed a promotion game, but then from Silver 1 to Gold 5 you would still have to complete one promotion game. Now I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Do you like the direction Here's the Storm is taking with more fluid movement to ranks, or would you rather have to grind a bit more for your climb and have your current rank being a bit more static? Finally, with the beginning of the ranked season, we will all be completing the most important 10 games of the entire series, and I'm of course referring to your placement matches, where your rank will be hidden until you complete all 10, and then you'll be given your starting point for this season. Now that rank that you will be given will be affected largely by 3 things. The first is your hidden MMR. So if you're one of those players that I mentioned earlier who maybe went on a winning or a losing streak that saw your show and rank change a lot quickly, you will likely be largely affected by this because your show and rank is going to be adjusted right away to be much closer to your MMR. Secondly, as the new season starts, there is almost always a rank squish that happens, which means that all players will be sucked closer to the center of the bell curve. So if you're a higher up player in say Masters or Diamond, you can expect this to be a force that is going to pull your rank down. And if you're a Bronze or Silver player, this is something that will probably play into an increase in your rank. The purpose of the rank squish is to give everyone a bit of a fresh start. Clumping everyone together provides a kind of a soft reset for everyone to work their way back to their truer ranks. And finally, the third factor in deciding your new rank is of course the results of your 10 promotion games, and the results of these could easily outweigh both of the aforementioned rank adjustments coming your way, and I have just 2 pieces of advice for your placement games. The first is to try your best. Highlight early in draft, try to get on your best heroes, and really try to pick a time to play where you can focus. The second, and more important one, is if you have a loss that is the result of trolling, tilting, or otherwise overly emotional fellow players, I strongly recommend waiting a couple minutes before you queue again, because there is a pretty high probability that that person who just received that same rank adjustment as you is going to instantly queue up again, and if you do the same, you may well get them in your game twice in a row, resulting in you being cheesed out of yet another game. This is especially true for players at the further ends of the MMR spectrum. Bronze and Master players really should be aware of getting the same people in multiple games, so give yourself a chance at a fair game by staggering your queue with someone that you know is queuing and you know is toxic. If you guys have any questions or opinions you want to share, I will be on stream all this evening, September 24th, and tomorrow evening, September 25th, doing my placement games, and as usual, interacting with the chat the whole time. Your other option is just comment below, because I do like getting in there and furthering any discussions you guys want to have. Lastly, if you enjoy the video, please do consider subscribing, as a small channel, new subs do go a long way. Thanks so very much for everyone for watching, and have a terrific day tomorrow as we enter Season 4. I will see you in Hero League or Team League or wherever we all decide to queue. You let me know in the comments. Thanks again, guys. Take care.